radical forgiveness. In the ancient city of Jerusalem, where the narrow streets echoed with whispers of tradition and the weight of history hung heavy in the air, Jesus once shared a parable that would challenge the very fabric of conventional wisdom, a story of shocking forgiveness that would leave his listeners awestruck and transformed. It was a warm afternoon when Jesus found himself surrounded by a diverse crowd, each person seeking wisdom and solace in his presence. Among them was a young woman named Miriam, burdened by a heavy heart and a tale of betrayal. Master Miriam spoke, her voice tinged with sorrow. How can one forgive when the pain runs deep and the wounds refuse to heal? Jesus regarded her with compassion, knowing the depths of her anguish. He then began to share a parable, a story that would unravel the mystery of radical forgiveness. In the outskirts of Jerusalem lived two neighbors, Isaac and Samuel. They were once close friends, sharing meals and laughter under the olive trees. But as fate would have it, a dispute arose over an inherited piece of land, turning their friendship bitter and cold. Isaac, feeling wronged by Samuel's claims, took matters into his own hands. One night, under the cloak of darkness, he set fire to Samuel's fields, watching as the flames devoured the crops that Samuel toiled over day and night. The morning after the fire, Samuel stood amidst the ashes of his dreams, his heart heavy with grief and rage. He vowed revenge, swearing to repay Isaac's treachery with equal malice. Days turned into weeks, and the rift between Isaac and Samuel widened like a chasm. Each harbored resentment and bitterness, consumed by thoughts of vengeance. The once thriving neighborhood became shrouded in tension and fear. It was during these turbulent times that Jesus passed through their village. Hearing of the strife, he sought out Isaac and Samuel, inviting them to sit with him beneath an ancient olive tree. "Brothers," Jesus began, his voice carrying a weight of divine authority, "let me tell you a story, a parable of forgiveness that defies human logic." He then recounted the tale of a benevolent king who, upon discovering that his servant owed him a vast sum, summoned the debtor to his court. The servant, trembling with fear, pleaded for mercy, unable to repay the debt. Moved with compassion, the king forgave the entire debt, releasing the servant from his burden of indebtedness. Yet the story took an unexpected turn when this same servant, upon leaving the king's presence, encountered a fellow servant who owed him a meager sum. Enraged and unyielding, he demanded immediate repayment, refusing to show the same mercy he had received. The king, upon hearing of this injustice, summoned the unforgiving servant once more. "Should you not have shown mercy to your fellow servant, as I showed mercy to you?" the king asked, his voice echoing with divine rebuke. As Jesus concluded the parable, Isaac and Samuel sat in contemplative silence, their hearts stirred by the profound lesson of radical forgiveness. Master Isaac finally spoke, his voice trembling with humility. "How can we break the cycle of hatred and vengeance that grips our hearts?" Jesus looked upon them with eyes that pierced through their pain. "Forgiveness," he replied, his voice gentle yet resolute, "is the key that unlocks the chains of bitterness and resentment. Just as the king showed mercy to his servant, so too must you forgive one another, releasing the burden of hatred and embracing the freedom of grace." Samuel nodded slowly, his countenance softened by newfound understanding. "But Master," he asked, his voice filled with uncertainty, "is such forgiveness truly possible?" Jesus smiled, his gaze unwavering. "With God, all things are possible," he replied, his words carrying the weight of eternal truth. Embrace radical forgiveness, and you will discover a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that can heal even the deepest wounds. And with those profound words, Jesus departed from Isaac and Samuel, leaving behind a legacy of transformative forgiveness, a testament to the boundless grace that flows from the heart of divine love. Miriam, who had listened intently to the parable, felt a stirring in her soul, a seed of hope, taking root amidst the wreckage of her pain. Inspired by Jesus' words, she dared to believe that forgiveness, even in the face of betrayal, was not only possible but essential for the liberation of her spirit. As she watched the sun set over the ancient city, Miriam made a silent vow to embrace the radical forgiveness that Jesus spoke of, to release the burden of bitterness and reclaim the peace that had eluded her for so long. And in that moment of resolve, she glimpsed the transformative power of shocking forgiveness, a power that transcended human frailty and pointed toward the boundless mercy of the divine.